Okay, we're continuing with this book here, The Best of the West in Art, Music, Movies, and Books by me, Pete Rogers. We're going through these inventors and scientists in, largely chronological order. And I'm doing this to kind of show you this is civilization. I'm trying to cure the brain damage of the public schools where people are taught all cultures are equal. They are not equal. Western civilization is by far the best civilization in the world, ever in the history of the world, in a truly objective sense. I'm not talking about just my opinion. I'm saying if you value art, literature, sculpture, architecture, scientific achievement, and philosophy, it's by far the best. There's nothing even close. And if you know of anything even close, please tell me, and I will be very happy to look it up. I've been studying this for decades, and I'm not aware of anything even close. Okay? So here is Gottfried Liebniz, co-inventor of calculus. His best quote was, "There is either God or nothingness," which calls it right. You either have God, Christian God, Bible God, or you have atheism, which is atheistic Darwinism, survival of the fittest. Okay? And all these guys are a bunch of, white Christian men from Europe. It's just a fact. Don't take my word for it. Go look it up. Everything I'm seeing you can look it up in 5 seconds. You will see that it is true. Okay, and if you know of anything different, put it in the comments. I'll be happy to look it up. Okay. Now this is John Wallis. He was co-inventor of calculus along with Isaac Newton and Gottfried Liebniz as well. So they're sort of the three guys. And Archimedes had done a preliminary version of it. Okay. But I'm just showing you, this is where all this advanced mathematics came from. And here is, I think this is Robert Hooke. He's the guy who used a microscope, discovered the first concept of the cell. Okay, he was sort of an enemy of Isaac Newton. They would argue in the Royal Society, a rival of Isaac Newton. Okay, in England, he lived from 1635 to 1703. Here's Joseph Boskowitz from Yugoslavia, polymath genius, Jesuit priest. He was a pioneer in astronomy and physics, atomic theory. These guys are so smart. Also, think about a smart man. All right. By the way, women did almost nothing. Women were typically having 10 babies or more, and they're busy with the kids. Okay. When you think about a man getting married and having kids, it's a lot of fun, but it really detracts from his productivity. So if you take a smart man, like I'll just give you an example. I'm a married guy. I work in conventional medicine, which makes me exhausted. And then, my wives and girlfriends steal all my money. So there's not much I could do. Okay, I got a little bit of free time, and I write these books. I've written 30 books and made thousands of YouTube videos. And that's about all I could do, and I'm exhausted. Okay? I could imagine if I was like a priest, and I didn't have to deal with wives, girlfriends, kids, conventional jobs. I could just study all the time. I could do, 3-4 times as much. Anyways, so he's like the smartest guy ever from Yugoslavia. Him and Tesla, Nikola Tesla. Okay, here's Blaise Pascal, the French genius. He sort of invented the early prototype of the computer. Great mathematician, devout Catholic, and he's author of the famous Pascal's Pensées, Pascal's Thoughts. And the best part of that was Pascal's Wager. And it's a smart bet on God. Okay, French math genius. All right. That's a great thing. I've made other videos about Pascal's Wager. He lived from 1623 to 1662. Okay, now here is Antoine van Leeuwenhoek, who was looking at the microscope and he discovered these little microorganisms. He called them animalcules. And this sort of led to the earliest understandings of like bacteria and whatnot. First man to see human capillaries under the microscope. He wrote all about his discoveries, and they were presented at the Royal Scientific Society of London. Here's Emanuel Swedenborg from Sweden, polymath, genius, pioneer in mineralogy, and also the studying of brain anatomy. He was a very intensely religious guy. He figured out a lot of the earliest concepts of brain anatomy. In some ways, he kind of reminded me of Blaise Pascal, interested in mathematics as a young guy, and then later, as he got older, more interested in religion, which is pretty common. You become more interested in religion as you get older. Anyways, I'll leave it at that for today, but I'm just giving you a sense. And for every guy I show you, there's a couple more that are worthy of being shown. Science, the modern scientific method, came out of the Catholic Church, and all these devout religious guys, they developed it. And the whole modern world comes from the work of these guys. It didn't come out of these other places. These other places, the history of the world is basically usually, almost all places, 99% of them. There's some tyrannical dictator who says to all of his population, do as I say, I'll kick your ass. Doesn't care about them learning or doing anything new, just wants them to behave like farm animals that he owns. And then he tries to build up his power and looks at his neighbor and says, hey, I think we kick our neighbor's ass. Let's go kick their ass and steal their stuff, okay? That's the history of the world, all right? And it was in very few places, including ancient Greece and Europe, where there was enough freedom. There was plenty of BS there too, but there was enough freedom that, and enough specialization in labor that guys could just study and be scholars and develop philosophy, develop literature, develop the scientific method, and develop these other things too, this agriculture, this architecture, and whatnot. So anyways, hope you found that helpful.